So we took the blood analysis. We had to go to the appeal court in Germany, you know. We asked to France. France said, no, 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 we cannot give you the blood analysis of the rats that have eaten Monsanto GMO for 3 months because this is a big secret. You know that 100,000 substances have been put on the market, and now about 40 GMOs have been put on the market since 15 years, and 100,000 substances since 50 years. No one has been given to animals with blood analysis that are public. Before commercialization, all these blood analyses belong in secret to companies, and this is the industrial secret. And in order to have that, you have to stand up very early, maybe more than me this morning. You have to stand up very early because when you request that, Germany, finally, because they have a law about transparency because of the Second World War and the problem that they had with the Nazi, etc., they have a transparency law. So they gave the blood analysis to the society. Greenpeace asked for that because we made a lot of noise in France and we didn't have the money to pay lawyers to go to Germany and to request that. So Greenpeace said, we will do. So they did. So they did. They obtained the blood analysis. And you know what happened? Monsanto went to court against the German government because they gave the blood analysis of 40 rats eating GMOs during 3 months. We are in a crazy world, you know. We are in the 21st century, and the big company goes against a government in a European country because they gave the blood analysis of 40 rats, you know. So we studied that, and what we saw was differences in weight. The females were taking weight, and the males were losing a bit weight. These are the bold lines on the curves. And then we saw that there was 20 to 30% increase in triglycerides here, 20 to 40% increase in triglycerides in females, 10% increase here in blood sugar. We had kidney problems, an increase in liver weight, and an increase here, an increase in liver weight, 7%, and an increase in body weight. I've shown you that on the last slide. So we said it's like a pre-diabetic profile in females. Why didn't you take that into account? And males were losing weight at the level of their kidneys. Here, males were losing weight here. So we said 7% is quite big in 3 months. 7% weight loss. So please, what happens, and why didn't you take that into account? These were secret data in order to commercialize a transgenic maize which is on the market today and which is called MOR 863. And they said, well, they even put my name on the title, you know. That never happens in a scientific paper to put the name of a scientist in the title. Maybe if he died several years ago, 15 years ago, you know. I hope that it's not what they want for me. But they said, we have seen statistical findings. Oh, I said, fine. With my group and CRIIGEN, you have seen the statistical findings. Why did you say it was not important? And then they said, well, because in order to find that important, we need a similarity between both sexes. You don't know that breast cancer is not similar between sexes? You don't know that? You don't know that a lot of chronic diseases are different between sexes? And they said, we need a proportional effect for the 2 doses we have chosen, otherwise we don't look at that. And other stupid reasons, like it should be outside an historical norm that they don't define, like you need the rat exploding if you need an explosion, I mean, to be outside of historical norm. I don't know what is historical norm. And then they said, but we do that for chemicals and pesticides and drugs since 50 years, you know. So we understood that's why there are so many chronic diseases, how the things have been assessed really. And they continue to do that for GMOs within 3 months. So they take care about the short-term effects, but they don't take care about the chronic effects to make more benefits in a more rapid way. So then we saw that these people in the paper gratefully acknowledged the financial and technical support of Monsanto. So we said, we understand now. Next slide. So we published with several scientists all over the world, from the States, from Australia and New Zealand, from Italy, from different places of Europe, Great Britain, etc. We published how it was ridiculous to consider these criteria in order to put things on the market and that the side effects will be neglected. And then we said, and the Norwegian, Swedish government and German government gave us other blood analysis for other GMOs, and we compared 3 GMOs in order to see if there were these kind of side effects in different GMOs. And what we saw is that was published in peer-reviewed international journals, herd problems in maize tolerant to Roundup, and that all the parameters were sexually differentiated at the beginning in the rats. So you cannot wait for similar effects in both sexes because all the parameters are already at the beginning sexually differentiated. So you start from different points for liver and kidney parameters, so you cannot reach the same point. So that's why there are sex differential effects. And we all know that on a chronic way. Of course, you give a poison or you give a knife hurt. That gives the same thing in males and females. But you give an hormone, you give an hormone, you give a chronic chemical chronically. That gives different effects in different sexes. So we saw also in another GMO effects in the spleen, 18%, and effects in the liver and in the kidney. And EFSA is a European authority that is the last one today. And EFSA recognized the Monsanto reasoning. They said Monsanto is right. Before all this story. So when we published that, they were in disagreement with us. And they said, no, your statistics are not good. But we said, but our statistics are almost 80% the same as Monsanto. So Monsanto recognized these effects. So you have seen their paper. So these effects are real, but you misinterpreted that. And they say they interpreted that correctly. This was not a problem. But their problem is that they refuse to continue the test. Why? Because they say, for ethical reasons, we don't want to sacrifice the rats. So we said, you prefer to sacrifice the babies? Or what? And no, the problem is not solved. You know what was the solution? There are 3 people from EFSA that were linked to companies. This was demonstrated recently. The president of the administrative council, the secretary of the GMO committee, and the head of the GMO committee. And they were big political affairs because they were linked to industry. I was myself an expert in EFSA. And I saw that they never have redone the statistics of Monsanto. When we did that, they asked to us the computer files because they didn't do that before. So they were just trusting Monsanto for the last 10 years. So you see the problems. Only 40 rats were measured in Monsanto analysis on 80 that were eating GMOs, on a total of 40 rats in the experiment. That's already a shame, you know. That shows already that they want to hide the effects. Otherwise, you don't design an experiment like that, and EFSA shouldn't accept an experiment like that. But this is given by transparency. Only during 90 days, which is already a shame because you cannot have chronic effects in 90 days. You need a year in a rat, at least. For the GM potato, that has given a lot of debates, only 10 rats were fed with the GM potato on 30 rats in total. This is stupid, you know. And that's what we are doing with industry in order to promote a more rapid commercialization of these products. And not only to promote a more rapid commercialization,